Thank you so much for joining me today, Alex. It's a pleasure to meet you.
It's my pleasure.
So, introduce yourself for the Informs members.
I'm an associate professor at the University of Buffalo.
What classes do you teach?
I'm in the operations research group.
Okay.
Year to year, I teach simulation.
Okay.
And then I have taught different courses in OR. And my kind of favorite, my baby course that I created is on social network behavior modeling, which is at the meeting point of social network analysis and rigor.
Okay.
And optimization.
I bet that one's popular with the students.
I like it. It's a breadth-focused course. So I teach them a lot about the world, about different facets of science.
Yeah, great. So how long have you been an Informs member?
Since 2003.
Great.
Yes.
So you're coming up on 20
right.
years?
So yeah, my advisor put it on track even before I knew what Informs was all about.
Yeah. So you joined as a student then, right? Or
yes,
yeah,
as a student.
Great, and you've stuck with us ever since.
It's a great community.
Yeah. So what keeps you coming back every year and renewing your membership?
It's really that sense of togetherness. People are communal beings, and we get inspired while being in a community, and we actually work more effectively if we work in a community. Yeah. So this 3-year delay period where we didn't see each other face to face made me appreciate that community even more.
Yeah. Do you think it affected your work at all, your research, not having the face to face? I know we've done the
Every
Zoom
time
and all
I
virtual.
come here, I feel that I came up with a solution for a problem, or I came up with a couple of new problems to look at.
Yeah. I think that little hiatus really did impact some of that.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I tend to think positively.
Good. Okay, well, good. So tell us generally how you got into this field. What made you go into OR?
Well, I was just good at it. When I was in high school,
I was good at
math and physics, and just life took me on a certain course. So I ended up here in OR, and boy, I'm very glad, because when I was learning math on the theoretical level, it really didn't click well for me, even though I was still good at it. But when I came to the OR and I saw all those problems that the math can help solve, I was very much relieved and impressed and happy.
Great. So how did you hear about OR? From math and physics, how did you actually get into OR? I feel like that's not a field many high school students hear about. So how did you end up?
It is very true. It is very true. We keep saying that people don't know what industrial engineering is.
Yeah.
But, actually, when I was getting in, I didn't know also. So somebody told me that, look, there is this industrial engineering, and there is, operations research. So I read a little bit about it, and that's how I got in.
Okay.
And I realized that that's something
that
I want to do.
Too much. You didn't know what you're getting into yet.
Right.
Then you found it, and you loved it, and you stuck with it.
Right. The very first year made me believe, the very first year in the master's program at Ohio State made me believe that that's what I want to do. And eventually I got my PhD at the University of Illinois.
Great. That's awesome. So is there anything about your career path that might surprise us, or was it a pretty linear from master's, PhD to, academia?
I would say no surprises.
No surprises?
If anything, it felt very natural to me.
Good.
Everything that happened to me felt very natural. Nothing was forced. So from that perspective, I cannot even...
No, that's fine. So did you know when you were getting your PhD that you wanted to go into academia? So was that your goal? Did it just kind of happen? Were you toying?
I had a little doubt if I wanted to be in academia, because I couldn't compare it versus an industry job. So my first job was an industry job. I was in the simulation group of Caterpillar.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was in 2009.
Okay.
And so when the crisis broke down, I realized that academia is much more secure.
Okay. Well, that happens. So I didn't know that you started in industry technically. What advice would you give to students in your field about OR careers in general? And you have a little experience on both sides of it, I suppose. So what would you say?
Well, by now I have advised about 20 students in writing their dissertation, master thesis. So advice is really what we do. It's both advice about career and life.
So what do you tell some of those students when they're... that stage?
A person either knows what they need to achieve, well, to become happy,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Or they don't. So if you know what you want to achieve, I would say just develop focus and concentration and achieve it.
Yeah.
Go full throttle, do not get distracted.
Okay.
And if you do not know what the next step should be, then I would vote for clarity. Just developing that sense of clarity about life. And actually the science goes this exact way. In applied OR, we know what problems we need to solve, and we use the entire toolbox and work as efficiently as we can to solve the problem.
Yeah.
The rest of the science, or much of the science, is about discovering the laws of the universe. It's all about clarity, something that we don't know, and we want that
Right.
clarity.
Yeah.
So, and on a personal level, I think achieving clarity is very, very important. It's all about taking a general view on the problem and the world, and being even more intimate than that. It's about living now, being in the present. There is that slogan, right?
Mm-hmm.
That people like. I think they get to that maybe in their mid-age, right? Like
Yeah.
in the 40s, 30s,
Sure.
something like that. So I know the secret to that, so I can very
Yeah.
easily share. So the past is in the present. In order to remember something, you have to be in the present, so you're always there.
Right.
So as long as you realize that relationship between the past and the present, then you're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very philosophical. I do wish I had that sort of advice in my undergrad. I did not have a major for a couple years, and I didn't think about what I wanted my life to look like. The career. It was just like, I'm good at this, so we'll do. So
It's a good place to be, actually, I believe.
You think so?
I think so.
It's always incredible to me how young you are when you have to decide what you want to do for the rest of your life. A high school student, 17, 18, all of a sudden you're like, this is what I want to do, and now I have to achieve it for the next 5, 7,
I tend
10
to
years.
think that my younger self had more wisdom than my kind of older self, my ambitious self. I remember myself when I was in high school, and I was lying in bed at night, and I thought, what could possibly happen to me in the next 3-5 years where all of a sudden the society will want me? That what kind of special skills can I develop that I don't have now?
Wow.
There are goals that I
Yeah.
wanted to achieve,
Yeah.
and then focus and concentration were required, as I said.
Yep. You did it. You're here. So how about your research? Do you have any recent projects that are going on you can talk about?
Yes, well, I still hope that my best projects are yet to be done.
Okay.
The one that, lately I have come to work more on problems where I would see the impact kind of right away.
Okay.
In this life.
Yeah. Okay.
So one project that I'm quite proud about is education-oriented, actually, engineering education-oriented.
Okay.
As I teach a course, I ask students to create learning content for each other. So we cover some topic, and then I give them some multiple choice questions, which we work through together. It gives us maybe a certain level of engagement because they try to answer the questions themselves, and then I explain the right answer to them. It allows us to get back to the same topic multiple times. And then after a while, I begin to ask them to come up with those questions by themselves.
Okay.
And this has been like a revelation for me during the COVID times because the students were super excited. They were all engaged, even though we didn't see each other.
Yeah.
All the classes were done in Zoom. But I received raving reviews.
So
as
were they
I have
writing
never
test
received
questions?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
And then you would use them?
So it goes like this. It's called crowd learning.
Okay,
So the
yeah.
process is they create questions, then they rate or compare by value or utility each other's questions.
Okay.
And then the ranked list gets to me, and I compose a quiz to be done in class, like in a quiz competition using Kahoot software. So, and this has been tremendous, very, very fulfilling for me.
Nice.
And what I hope to solve, the problem that I hope to solve, is that of a fake review detection online.
Oh, like deep fakes?
So
Or-
let's say 10, 15 years ago, I could easily trust Amazon star
Oh.
reviews of products, right? Now I can't.
Yeah.
I have to read the reviews to try to figure out which ones are authentic and which ones are
Yeah.
fake. So the fact that this problem exists doesn't really make sense. So in the real world, like I know you, I know some real people, I can ask them for advice. Why doesn't it work in the online world?
Yeah.
I believe that this problem can be just killed, literally. So the current methods, they involve machine learning and trying to algorithmically predict which review is authentic and which one's not.
Yeah.
But I believe that the solution really should be about social responsibility. And me working on that meeting point of social network analysis and optimization, that's what excites me now. You asked me about achievements, but I'm telling you about the plans,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
What excites me now.
That's good. That's great. I always just look for the grammar and spelling mistakes, and usually I feel like those are the bots in the fake reviews.
Right. Yes, and there are many cues to that. So there are spam farms.
Spam farms?
Yes, people that do spamming in an organized way. So detecting how they work and how they interact, how they use the same templates.
Yeah.
That's a big subject.
I did not know that. Do they get paid to do that?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Weird. Okay. Well, let's talk about your Informs life here. You've earned several Informs awards, including the JFIG paper competition and the very notable Impact Prize. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And that prize recognizes widespread impact in the entire practice of OR. What have these awards meant to you and your career?
All awards are very humbling to me. I was present at the award ceremony yesterday, and one of the awardees said, I feel as if I don't deserve them. So that's my case. I always feel that, I was just a part of the team, and everybody else, were terrific there, and I was just there and happy, enjoying the ride.
Well, you deserve it. And this year, for the 2022 Informs annual meeting, you served as program co-chair. So can you give us just a brief synopsis of that experience?
Yes, it was great.
Yeah?
I enjoyed it so much. The team, the entire conference committee was great. The Inform staff members are sensational. It's always a pleasure to see the workings of something unknown and maybe a bit scary from the other end. Like when you are looking to become a faculty member and you are interviewing, you feel, boy, what are they going to do to me? How do I even match up to them? But when you are there, it's just simple people.
Fine.
People
Yeah.
living their lives and they want another good colleague. So the same thing is here. So when I see how the organization operates from the other end and you see the simple people, you begin to appreciate it even more.
So you were intimidated about it at first, and then once you got in it was good. How did you get into that? Did you volunteer for that, for the program co-chair? Does the general chair pick those people?
Yeah, he invited me.
Oh, okay. And you said yes.
Sure.
Glad to have you. So as a member almost for 20 years of Informs, what motivates you to volunteer and do the competitions and the co-chairing?
Well, what else is there to do? As long as you know your goals, you go ahead and achieve them. And then quite often people just need to achieve some goals together, and you go on and help them. It's easier.
Yeah.
You don't need to think of a goal. You just go and do something.
Right. Like you said earlier, we like to we're communal
Yes,
beings, right?
that's right.
So how about Informs publications? Which one do you read the most? Journals, magazines?
Well, I cannot say that I'm pursuing the reading of any particular one, but I know many. I would say the most influential is Operations Research.
Okay.
Yeah, I have found articles on totally diverse areas of science, and the way I work is about diversity. Like I said, it's the meeting point of multiple sciences. So, OR publications have been most impactful.
Okay, great. Thank you. So tell us about yourself. Tell us something not many people know about you. Tell us your deep, dark secrets.
Well, I like basketball. If my body allowed, I could play very long. And maybe one of the secrets is that I like people very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, but
It
at the
shows.
same time, I'm not particularly sociable. So when I'm one-on-one with someone, they are my world at that time.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I don't really bother anyone.
Okay.
So I kind of think, well, people are fine even without me. So sometimes people don't think that I like people.
You're an extroverted introvert, or there's so many terms now for.
Yeah, I guess so.
So what were you like in high school? You already mentioned that you were pretty already goal-oriented, and
I like solving problems.
you like solving problems.
Yeah, so when I had spare time, I had like math books, like Science Olympics problems. I just liked solving them.
Yeah.
As kids do puzzles or Legos. So in my age, these things were not there, so I liked that. And I read a lot.
Yeah.
Yes.
You were one of the kids that stayed up too late reading book by flashlight.
Yes. Yes.
Great. All right, last question. Say the interview ends and you go out into the hallway and you find a lottery ticket that has already been scratched off, $10 million. What do you do with it?
I'll try to find out who the owner is.
How'd you do that?
Maybe turn it into the police.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but
so
well,
say they
you
give
see-
it to you. Say it's yours.
Okay,
What do you do
okay.
with the
So,
$10 million?
well, I would go cash it out. That's for sure.
Yeah. And then what do you
Yeah,
do?
that's it. So we'll see what happens.
That's it?
It's very easy.
Yeah, $10 million. Do you quit your job? Do you buy a boat?
Oh. Yeah, and
you solve all the world's
I
problems?
don't know. Yes.
You maintain and still figure out how to solve the fake.
I
reviews
prefer
on
not to
Amazon.
fantasize. I'm happy sitting with you right now. So if I go out, probably the next step would be
So
to just cash
simple.
it out.
That's a good answer. Well, thank you so much for your time today.
Yes.
Pleasure
Thank
talking to you.
Thank you.